Stage 1. The trigger, nervous. A brain in love and a brain on drugs light up almost the same way on a scan. That's not a figure of speech. That's biology. The same reward areas fire in both cases, and nobody warns you about that when you fall for someone. You get sold the soulmate story instead, the destiny story. When you know, you know. Nobody tells you that when you look at the person you love, the part of your brain responsible for clear thinking literally slows down. You're not seeing more truth. You're under the influence. And like anything that alters your state, love runs through predictable phases: onset, peak, and come down. It starts here with the first nervous flutter. You see the person, your stomach tightens, your palms sweat, you forget what you were about to say. That feels like emotional weakness. It's actually a stress response, nothing more. Your body treats romantic attraction almost like a mild threat, and it reacts the same way it would to danger. It releases the same stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart isn't racing because you felt something special. It's racing because your body went on alert. Onset. The first eye contact is enough to trigger that alarm. That's why riding a roller coaster and going on a first date produce almost identical physical symptoms: sweaty palms, racing heart, knotted stomach. Peak. The anxiety mixes with a hint of good anticipation. Your brain is already predicting a possible reward, even without any certainty. That leaves you hyper-focused on every detail: the tone of their voice, the way they laugh, whether they glanced at you again. Come down. The conversation ends, and your body takes its time coming down from alert mode. You replay the scene, edit what you said in your head, imagine what you should have said instead. That's not romance. That's your body trying to calm down from a scare it created for itself. Here's the uncomfortable part. At this early stage, your body reacts almost the same way to someone who charms you as it does to someone who scares you. It doesn't know the difference between "I like this person" and "this is risky." It just knows something important is at stake. Stage 2. Infatuation, excited. Now the nervousness turns into euphoria. You check your phone every 30 seconds. A good morning text makes you happier than it probably should make a functioning adult. This stage has a name: infatuation, and it runs on the same kind of pleasure chemistry involved in addiction, not equal in intensity, but the same mechanism. Your brain has learned that this person equals feeling good, and nobody calls that an addiction because society decided love is the sacred exception to the rule. Onset. Every time the person texts, shows up, or is even just mentioned, your brain releases a wave of dopamine, the chemical behind pleasure and motivation. Your brain learns fast. This person equals feeling good, and it starts chasing that trigger constantly. Peak. You're so focused on this person that you start sleeping less, eating less, performing worse at work, the same signals that show up in any form of compulsive behavior around a substance. Your judgment drops during this window. You're not seeing with your heart, you're running with your internal brakes disconnected. Come down. All that intensity doesn't hold up for long. The body gets used to any repeated stimulus fast, and love is no exception. That's why the initial rush always fades, and people mistake it for the love cooling off, when really it's just the body returning to baseline. Stage 3. Obsession. This is the stage nobody admits out loud. You think about the person constantly, read any silence as rejection, replay old conversations looking for clues. This one also has a name: limerence. And here's the most uncomfortable fact in this entire video. Research has shown that during this stage, levels of a hormone linked to mental well-being drop so low they resemble the levels found in people with untreated obsessive-compulsive disorder. Saying, "I'm obsessed with this person," isn't just a figure of speech. It's almost literal. Onset. That drop makes it harder for your brain to let it go. Thoughts about the person you love start repeating automatically, somewhat outside your control. Peak. Uncertainty becomes fuel. It sounds backwards, but when the other person's response is unpredictable, sometimes attentive, sometimes distant, The pleasure response is actually stronger than when it's always predictable. It's the same principle used in slot machines. Random reward is more addictive than constant reward. Ambiguous relationships aren't more intense because they're special. They're more addictive because they're exploiting a known glitch in your brain. Come down. The mental exhaustion of checking your phone, rereading messages, and imagining worst-case scenarios takes a toll. Constant anxiety, dropping productivity, less time with friends, your social circle shrinks because all your mental energy is going toward one person. Call it passion if you want. Clinically, it's the stage of falling in love that overlaps the most with a compulsive disorder. And movies sell it to you as the peak of romance. Stage 4. Calm. If the relationship survives the obsessive stage, and most don't, exactly because that level of intensity is impossible to sustain, the body shifts gears. In place of the euphoria and anxiety come hormones linked to long-term bonding, the same ones that show up when a mother holds her newborn. This is where the relationship stops feeling like an addiction and starts feeling like an actual bond. The anxiety fades. You can finally sleep through the night without checking your phone. Regular physical contact, hugging, sex, even just falling asleep next to someone, releases these bonding hormones, which lower stress and create a sense of safety. It's almost the opposite of stage 1, where there used to be alarm and threat. Now there's calm and trust. This is the most stable stage, but also the least glamorous. There's no movie about the couple who goes to bed early, splits the electric bill, and calmly talks about taxes. The intensity dropped, but the body's stability went up. Less stress, better sleep, even a stronger immune system in stable relationships, according to research. And the real risk here isn't biological, it's behavioral. Since this stage no longer pumps out that high dose of early euphoria, a lot of people read the calm as a sign that the love is over, and end up sabotaging a healthy bond, chasing the intensity of stage 3, which ironically felt more like suffering than actual love. Stage 5. Routine. Like any good feeling, the body also gets used to the bond. The touch that used to trigger a wave of comfort is now just touch. That doesn't mean the relationship died. It means the brain stopped treating the other person's presence as novelty. And novelty is the main trigger for pleasure in any situation, not just love. Familiarity reduces the body's reaction to a partner's presence. Scans show a noticeably smaller brain response to the face of a long-term partner compared to the early stage of a relationship, even among couples who describe themselves as happy. Autopilot takes over, conversations get shorter, the focus shifts to logistics. Who's picking up the kids? Who's paying which bill? And that total attention that existed back in stages 1 and 2 mostly disappears. That's normal. It's not automatically a sign the love is gone. It's a sign the brain stopped spending extra energy on something that's already predictable. The real risk in this stage isn't the distance itself, it's what people do with it. This is exactly where the search for novelty, attention from someone else, or just quietly drifting apart, tends to start because the body is literally wired to chase new stimulation. The relationships that survive this stage are the ones that bring in novelty on purpose, not the ones that just wait for the intensity to come back on its own. Stage 6. Heartbreak. And if the relationship ends, the body reacts almost like it's going through withdrawal, because that's basically what's happening. If you spent months or years getting regular doses of well-being tied to one specific person, and that source disappears all at once, your body enters a real, measurable withdrawal. Onset. In the first weeks after a breakup, the same pleasure circuits activated during addiction keep firing at the sight of photos or memories of your ex. Your brain is still looking for that dose. Peak, stress spikes, sleep and appetite get thrown off, and the emotional pain activates nearly the same brain regions that process physical pain. A broken heart isn't just an expression. It's almost the same sensation in the body as an actual injury. Come down. Over time, without that source of well-being, the body recalibrates, but the process is slow. usually weeks or months, and it runs through the same classic withdrawal symptoms as quitting anything else. Sudden urges to go back, relapses, reaching out again, denial. And only after all that does it actually cool down. Checking your ex's profile on social media reactivates that pleasure circuit almost instantly, the same way a slip reactivates cravings in someone trying to quit smoking. That's not a character flaw, that's just the body reacting the way it reacts to losing anything that became routine. 6 stages: nervous, excited, obsessed, calm, distant, broken. None of them are magic. All of them have a mechanism and an expiration date. That doesn't make love less real. It makes it false to assume it's uncontrollable and stays the same forever by default. The love that lasts isn't the one that keeps stage 3's intensity forever. It's the one that survives stage 5 on purpose. So if someone ever tells you when it's the right person, you just know, and it never fades. Now you know exactly what's lying to that person, their own body. If this video messed with some curiosity addiction of yours, and based on what you just watched, it probably did, the like button is just one more dopamine trigger, except this time it's working in your favor. It helps the algorithm bring you more uncomfortable truth like this. Subscribe if you want to keep analyzing what moves you without anesthesia.